The Open Air Agora Museum is located near Konak Square and the shops of Kemiralty Bazaar. It is a suitable place for the traveler who is interested in the archaeological sites that were built in the 4th century BC. The museum shows the ruins of the ancient city of Izmir, which is represented in the corridors by which they transported water in the past to the city. The ancient agora was destroyed in an earthquake in 178 AD but was soon rebuilt by order of the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. The reconstructed Corinthian columns and Faustina Gate are important landmarks in the area, but the vaulted rooms and cisterns are more interesting, giving visitors a good idea of what this surprisingly rectangular market was like. The first excavations of the site were carried out in 1930 to 1941 by Rudolf Naumann, Professor Dr. Miltner and the director of the Ephesus Museums in Izmir, Selahattin Kantor. The excavations yielded the rectangular shape of the building with 3 floors and a staircase around which a large atrium measuring 120 meters x 180 meters in the center and on columns and arches was unearthed. The excavation work resumed on the site on August 5, 1996, with the approval of the Ministry of Culture in cooperation with the director of the Archaeological Museum and the governor of Izmir. The excavation proved to be a very difficult undertaking as wild developments had taken place on the site over the years. The government was forced to resettle inhabitants step by step to enable the excavation work to proceed. Greeks built the agora during the 4th century BC, but afterwards it was rebuilt by an order from the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius after it was damaged by an earthquake that hit the region later. When excavation of the site began in 1933, the current agora began to take shape. Some parts of Agora Museum were nicely restored after the site was cleaned up. Visitors to the museum quickly find that there are many parts that attract their attention and interest. An underground street which is covered with huge stone arches is one such attraction in the museum. The street looks like a maze of columns and massive arches which is very picturesque. A collection of pillars and columns that were discovered while ruined can be viewed just next to the entrance on the right side. The word Constantinople and other Latin words are clearly written in form of graffiti on one of columns. The specific column was originally in the Basilica in the Agora Museum in the Northwest Gate. The Ottomans had an artistic interest on gravestones. Rows of tombs served as a lesson on the importance of death to worshippers in religious places and as a reminder that man's presence on earth is temporary and that man is mortal. Ottoman cemeteries had a tombstone art culture, and an Ottoman graveyard with the art culture is located at the right corner of the agora. Some of the gravestones were preserved and look the same now as they did many years ago, while many are ruined or broken, of course due to the vagaries of weather over time. The agora bears witness to the history of Romans and Ottomans in the region and has welcomed visitors and travelers from all over the world over the centuries and from different cultures. The museum offers a fraction of history to the current inhabitants of the planet with its basilica, historic murals, and well-protected buildings. Of specific interest is a water trench which is estimated to be over 2,000 years old and which still functions to this day and supplies the residents of Izmir with water for use. Recent excavations in the museum and surrounding areas in Izmir have shed light on certain specific features of civilizations that lived during the early 4th century AD. Graffiti of world's first crossword was found on the wall of the basilica in the site. Precautions taken by the ancient civilizations which built the agora to protect themselves from threat of earthquakes could also be seen or deciphered in the museum. Numerous water trenches exist under the agora, with 2 being functional hundreds of years after they were constructed. Springs also exist in the museum which can be seen to this day. Museum of the Ancient Market in Izmir is a large Roman monument, which was proved to be a large market in ancient Rome and the most prosperous part of the city. Many existing remains can imagine the scale of the place at that time, and how